Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Fran, I'm from Venezuela, and today we're going to be watching a video called USA versus Australia, Top 5 Cultural Differences, Our Working Holiday Experience. It looks very fun. I love all the videos that show how different like two cultures are. So I'm excited to see this because I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of weird things from both ends. Let's check it out, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. So I'm hitting play. That's the first thing.
Yep, flushes the other way. And welcome back to another video. So we're continuing our Australia series. Our last video was about
Australian slang words, or just Aussie terms that we didn't know.
Yeah, it's Australian slang. So now we thought it would be a good time to talk about the cultural differences from Australia and our life back in the US.
We decided to put this video together based on a request from Maurice W. So we asked for any video suggestions, and we want you to know we're listening. So thank you, Maurice, for the suggestion for this video.
So as you saw in the intro, indeed the toilet does flush the opposite way in Australia compared to the US. But let's get into some serious points here. So I think what we're going to start out with is talking about work differences. So what work has been like here in our 6-month contracts compared to back home, our careers in the US. So I started working in Australia in November of last year. So it was around the holiday time, and yeah, it was pretty low key, pretty laid back. People were still obviously focused on projects, but at a bit slower of a pace, and then things definitely picked up come January. So I think that was pretty different. Back in the US, it's go, go, go all the time, even though it does slow down a little bit in the holidays. It was a nice relaxed pace here in Australia.
And I started my role in October of last year. Unfortunately, mine's come to an end, but when I was there, it was the first job in my professional life that I got in at 9 and left at 5, and that was encouraged. So that was really nice and different. And I would just say that the workplace culture in general is a lot more relaxed and casual, just in the way that people dress and the way that people carry themselves and talk. It's much less buttoned up and professional. I think in the US there's kind of a bit more of a professional persona, and here it just really seemed like people were kind of themselves. So honestly, it took me by surprise at first, but it was kind of nice once you got used to it.
Yeah, something you can get used to.
It's better.
And I don't know if just because we were doing working holiday visas and not our long-term careers back home, but back home, you know, work was usually always on the mind. We were stressed after work coming home. Oh, I had such a rough day. But here, once you get home from work, we honestly never really thought about it until we were back the next day at 9. So I think that says a lot about our experience working here.
I think priorities are different here. It just seems like there's much more of that work-life balance that Americans strive so hard to reach.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally here. It's much more accepted. It's great.
And I guess another big difference from the US, where we lived on the East Coast, and Australia is the weather. So not too many rainy days. We have not seen snow yet since we've been in Australia.
And
I don't know if there's snow in Australia.
We don't miss it, not at all. I mean, there were bushfires, so that was this, I don't know, people had never seen it in their whole lives, and of course we got here at that time, so that was an outlier, but mostly it's just been not too humid, sunny.
Yeah, and I'm loving the weather right now. We're in, May, almost May, April, mid-April. It's cool. It's like fall back at home. Yeah. Really enjoy it.
The weather's great. So great. Don't miss the cold.
Yeah.
At all.
Now, cold for us is like 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
We're babies.
Yeah.
We've had an eternal summer for a year. It's the way to do it. Kind of going along with the workplace differences, just the entire attitude towards holidays and vacations is a lot different here. So I know schools get a lot more school breaks during the year. Their schedule's a little bit confusing to us, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not like one big summer. You get a lot of frequent breaks, which is what they're used to.
Yeah, and it's completely standard and normal to get 4 weeks vacation time. Standard, entry level, for the whole year. I think I got a lot of comments about how do you make 2 weeks of vacation a year work? How can they do that? How is that possible? Yeah, so it's kind of hard to go back now, I think, after seeing what other people
Must be
have
hard.
here. And that doesn't even include Christmas break sometimes.
Yeah.
So companies shut down for 2 weeks and so you can get 6 weeks of vacation a year, feasibly.
Not too bad. Also, this isn't an ad to move to Australia. We're just saying there's some nice differences here.
There's some nice differences.
And another big difference here in Australia are the sports. So when we got here, we sort of created a list of all the different sports we wanted to go watch while we were here. Unfortunately, a lot of the seasons ended up getting suspended, so we couldn't see rugby league or
Why?
Australian rules football. So those were two big ones we wanted to see. We did go see some Australian soccer, and we also went to see a cricket match.
For 20 minutes
Which
before
was-
it got rained out.
But we went to the cricket ground
We went. It counts.
in Sydney, and it was a lot of fun. We had our bucket hats and figured out the rules for the most part. So, good learning experience.
There's a definite difference in understanding between the rules of sports. So I feel like people here don't understand American football and don't really care to.
No, just like the rest of the world, when we lived in England, there's a bit of
Exactly.
a following of the NFL, but no one really gives a crap over here in Australia. They have their sports that they like that are popular, so why watch anything else?
Fair enough.
Maybe when we're back in Australia, whenever, who knows when, but we'll be able to see some Aussie rules football and some rugby league.
That'd be nice.
So those are some of the major sports. So another big difference is the food here in Australia. As you know, Jenny and I love to eat, and we definitely explored the Aussie food scene here compared to the U.S. So, of course, being in a large cultural hub like Sydney, there are so many good types of food. I think the big differences that we found was obviously having our Vegemite toast for breakfast in the morning.
We've changed our tune. We actually love it.
Yeah, but when it comes to lunch, there are so many different options from, I guess, the chains that you have to eat. So back home, you got your KFC, Taco Bell, your burger chains. Here, there's a lot more chains around like Chinese food, Japanese food. There's just so many awesome choices that we didn't really have back in the U.S. where we lived.
Yeah, that's fair. I would also say the only things we really miss are Mexican food, like really good, authentic Mexican food, and also probably barbecue, like that kind of food,
Yeah.
ribs and pulled pork sandwiches and that kind of stuff. But the one thing that we've loved here is the authentic Asian food, because where we've grown up and lived in the U.S., we haven't had the options that we have.
Oh my
here.
God,
I mean,
is that a
it's
chicken?
Amazing. Vietnamese, Thai, Japanese, Korean. I mean, it's especially
Dim
awesome.
sum.
Yeah, just because after we traveled, we fell in love with Asia and so much of the food. So it's been really cool to be able to have those options here.
Food is a winner in Australia.
We'll talk more about it in another video. And the last big cultural difference that we wanted to talk about was, of course, the Australian accent. So Logan and I lived in England back in 2016, 17, and we were in the northern part of England, and he was there a year, I was there about half a year, and by the time we left, we felt pretty confident that we could do a mean northern English accent impersonation. Like, we were pretty confident in it. We've been here for about 6 months, and if you haven't checked out our latest video, you can check that out here. But we're terrible at the Australian accent.
Yeah, you
It's
just
so hard.
you really have to practice at your Aussie accent.
And we obviously stand out here with our American accents for sure. We sometimes get asked if we're from Canada, but yeah, we can't do this accent. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it.
Someone said our American accent's much more nasally compared to the Aussie accent, which is very, very true. So you'll stand out on a train or a bus compared to your local Aussies.
I think the only thing I'm kind of can manage to say is, how you going?
How you going?
Hiya, how you going,
Nah.
mate?
Yeah, no, so that's all
yeah,
we
nah,
got.
not really. It's difficult.
Yeah, but this is what we're doing to keep ourselves entertained. We hope you enjoyed the video here talking about the cultural differences. It's been really fun living here in Australia. We're sad to have to leave early, but that is the state of the world.
That is life, yeah. Couldn't have planned for it, but we're just trying to make the best of it. So thanks again, Maurice, for the great suggestion. I hope we answered some of your questions. If there's anything else you want us to talk about, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to make a video on it.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for videos in the future. See you soon.
That was really interesting. I think the the thing that surprised me the most was probably the one about the food, because I think I don't know why, but I thought because the U.S. like has like that much variety when it comes to food. So to me, it's weird to think that they don't really have like, I don't know, Japanese cuisine chains or like Chinese food chains. So it is kind of weird to think about it like that way. Like, oh my god, so Australia has like an even bigger variety. Like, it's so weird. But that was really interesting, and also the fact that that like the workplace difference. It's so chill in Australia compared to the U.S. I think that's probably like a thing that a lot of Americans will tell you, is that the American work culture is like very, it's tough. So I love that Australians really are like that chill. And one thing that was also like a little weird to me was the fact that they miss barbecue, because I thought Australia was famous for their barbecues. So that was funny and surprising. But I really liked this video, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. So I'll see you next time. Bye.